This is CBC Here and Now.
Jury scramble, a delay at the murder trial for Al Potter.
As sheriff's officers scour downtown for more potential jurors. Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Debbie Cooper.
And I'm Anthony Germain. 3 jurors dismissed today at the Al Potter trial, and that delay sent sheriff's officers searching downtown St. John's for replacement jurors.
Here and Now's Ariana Kelland is covering this trial and joins us now. So Ariana, just what happened?
Well, this is an uncommon practice, but it is a necessary one. This morning at court, they learned that 2 jurors and an alternate had to be dismissed. So that left a hole in the jury pool that meant trial could not go ahead without finding one more person. So sheriff's officers actually took to downtown St. John's, walked down the road. They went down to Atlantic Place on Water Street. They went down to the Sir Humphrey Gilbert building behind me on Duckworth Street. One man told me he was approached by a sheriff's officer as he was filling up his water bottle, kind of in shock that is this really the process of how you find jurors? But they needed to find that one. And of course, this is not a normal case. This is a high-profile first-degree murder case that's expected to last 5 weeks. 55-year-old Al Potter is accused in the stabbing death of Dale Porter. Porter was 39, a father of 2, and a resident of North River. Potter today was paying close attention to today's jury shuffle, if you want to call it that. He had documents in front of him and he was really paying close attention to what was happening. Now, there were 12 people who had jury summons that had to show up here today. In the end, they did pick one man to sit on the jury for the next 5 weeks, but the judge instructed 2 other potential jurors to come back tomorrow just in case. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Ariana Kelland in downtown St. John's.
Coming up on Here and Now, find out why this is the last edition of the Overcast.
A man who was acquitted of murder just 2 years ago is going to jail for attacking his wife. Ray Stacey pleaded guilty to assault with a weapon and then admitted to 2 carjackings while fleeing the scene. Now, details of the sordid incident were presented in court, and Here and Now's Zach Gowdy was there.
The last time Ray Stacey was on trial here at Supreme Court, it was for murder in the death of Clifford Comerford. In that case, a jury let Stacey walk free, but today he was back in the prisoner's box, this time pleading guilty to attacking his wife with a knife.
After the murder trial, Stacey got married and had a baby. His wife told police that things were going well until Stacey's grandfather died in March of last year. After that, he started to spiral downwards, and she moved out. On May 5th, she came to Stacey's house to collect items belonging to their baby. She found Stacey acting erratically and thought he was on drugs. Stacey grabbed a kitchen knife and told her he was going to kill her. Stacey's wife grabbed a baseball bat and defended herself. She later told police that if it wasn't for the bat, she would have been killed. She escaped and ran to a neighbor's house. The attack left her with cuts and bruises all over her body. Stacey left the house and ran to a nearby parking lot and jumped into a running car with a woman in the passenger seat. He quickly crashed the car, then jumped into another car that also had a woman inside. By that time, police were on the scene. Stacey was arrested without incident. Today, Stacey told the court he takes full responsibility for his actions. The prosecution is asking for a jail term of 6 to 7 years. The defense is asking for 2 years. A decision is expected on February 21st. Zach Gowdy, CBC News, St. John's.
There's been a heartbreaking turn of events involving the rescued snowmobilers on the Northern Peninsula. One of the men has died. Wilford Lovell was found alive yesterday afternoon, but the 68-year-old died a few hours later in hospital. Lovell and a group of friends were traveling in the backcountry near Jackson's Arm and Harbor Deep on Friday when he and another man became separated from the others. The other man was rescued Sunday while searchers continued to look for Lovell.
Well, taking a look at this photo sent in east of Ocock Bay in just north of Nain, basically the only place that saw some sunshine today. And if you take a look at the temperatures, wasn't too bad. -18, that's around seasonal for this time of year. These temperatures right now, or rather for the highs today, will be the the lowest actually, because we're going to see those temperatures climb as we head through the night tonight. If we take a look at the current satellite radar, in for a messy evening tonight. Already seeing some freezing rain on the southwest coast that will continue to track further east as we head through the night tonight. If we take a look at that future tracker, freezing rain making its way towards eastern Newfoundland by this evening. Eventually after midnight, we're going to see everything change over to rain. As I mentioned, those temperatures are really going to climb. And with that, we do have some rainfall warnings in place for the Burin Peninsula, southern Avalon, as well as some freezing rain warnings for Bonavista, Clarenville, and Avalon North. That freezing rain will last, as I mentioned, till about midnight. Then everything should change over to rain. I'll have all those details in your full forecast when I come back. Anthony?
Thank you, Ashley. The latest report from Food Banks Canada about people's reliance on food banks is out. Hunger Count 2018 states the obvious. Poverty is the root cause of food bank use. Now, across the country, people visited food banks just over 1 million times last year. In Newfoundland and Labrador, there were more than 28,000 visits to food banks, and that's described as unacceptably high. So here's how the numbers break down. Provincially, just over 10,000 visits were made by children. Nearly 18,000 were made by adults. And as you'll see, more than 36% of all food bank users are children. Single people represent more than half of the households that food banks serve, and 77% of food bank users are on social assistance. And finally, just over 3% are on some sort of disability support. Food Banks Canada also says while it is essential that people in need have access to food today, changes in government policy to support people out of poverty are what will truly drive down the number of people who turn to food banks across Canada.
After more than 200 passengers spent a night locked inside a plane earlier this month, United Airlines says it will only use the Goose Bay Airport for emergencies. There were plenty of questions after the incident about the airport's inability to handle the unexpected arrival of international flights.
For about 10 to 12 hours, we were sitting here with not much clarification on why we could not get off at this point.
The United Airlines flight was on its way to Hong Kong from the U.S. when it landed in Happy Valley Goose Bay for a medical emergency. The passenger was taken off and sent to hospital, but the rest were not allowed to deplane while the crew dealt with a mechanical issue. The problem went on for hours. And the Canadian Border Services Agency was apparently unable to process that many passengers on short notice. Goose Bay Airport is located on a Canadian Forces base, and Border Services staff don't typically work overnight. United Airlines is confirming it has designated Goose Bay as an emergency option only. That means its aircraft will be heading to other airports in situations that are anything less than an emergency.
An alternative newspaper in St. John's is shutting down. The Overcast, an arts and entertainment paper for the last 5 years, announced that it will no longer publish its monthly newspaper. Here now's Meg Roberts looks at why this decision was made and what this means for the community.
This is the last publication of the Overcast that residents in St. John's will see on stands. February's edition pays tribute to the past 5 years of production, and it's a chance to celebrate the skill and talent in St. John's, and it also is a reflection on the impact the closing of this paper will have on the community.
There's just so much happening here that it needs to be covered.
That was Chad Pelly 5 years ago talking about starting up the Overcast. Today marks the newspaper's last day. Pelly says although the experience has been very rewarding, he just needs a break.
I started the Overcast because there are so many amazing people and organizations doing work that I want to make sure everybody heard about. And today to hear those same people and organizations saying very kind things about the paper and that it managed to be that voice that all these people need to get their story out gives me a great sense of gratitude I don't think I'll get from anything else ever again.
It wasn't just a voice that the paper provided to the local community. Business owners say they relied on the generosity of the publication. Chinch Bistro is just one of the several restaurants participating in Burger Battle, a competition to find the best burger in St. John's. The challenge was started by the Overcast to increase sales throughout the slow month of February. Last year, Chinch Bistro sold more than 400 burgers in the month. The owner says that would have been impossible without the paper.
100%. It brings in several more people, sometimes people who come regularly and sometimes new people who are sort of intimidated to try our other food or perhaps just didn't know we were here. It is unfortunate, yeah, and I think, I think that it speaks volumes to what the Overcast represented for St. John's.
The Overcast also handed out a yearly grant to a deserving project in the community. In 2015, the Autism Society won the $10,000 Albedo grant. The money went towards a project called the Mobile Garden Unit, which pays people with autism to garden. The executive director says the money was crucial to the program.
It's a nonprofit, money is tight, and there's so much that we want to do, and it's never enough, but everything helps. So yeah, it's going to be missed, certainly.
Pelly says this might be the end of Overcast, but he's hoping his decision makes way for the start of another paper. Meg Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, if you're of a certain age, you probably remember hearing that playing video games, well, that's something that's just going to rot your brain. Well, how's this? A new study shows that video games actually have the opposite effect on seniors.
A researcher at Memorial was involved in the study, and he says the real lesson is about the importance of lifelong learning. Here now, Zach Gowdy has more.
Okay, here comes an enemy.
Good, nice. Got him.
These seniors are giving their brains a workout. They're taking on a complex cognitive challenge, playing Super Mario World.
How does it feel after giving it a few tries?
I'm enjoying it. I might need an Xbox.
You might think that playing video games is kid stuff, but a new study shows that seniors can learn a lot from the Mario Brothers. Researchers at Memorial and the University of Montreal wanted to study how learning new skills affects brain function in older adults.
I think the big question is can lifestyle choices, can day-to-day activities help preserve cognition as we age, help preserve mental capacities as we get older? And it's one of the big concerns. Everybody's worried about losing your memory as you get older, losing your hearing.
In the study, seniors were given tasks designed to be new and novel. One group of seniors took piano lessons, another group got a Nintendo.
It was a challenging task for this group. The cohort of older adults is a very interesting cohort that we have right now. This is sort of the last cohort of older adults that won't have grown up with video games. These people who are middle-aged now were the first cohort of people where video games were pretty much everywhere, right? So people who were teenagers in the late 70s and early 80s, they started with Pong and Pac-Man, games like that. And so video games are just a normal part of day-to-day life in most people who are middle-aged and younger.
But most seniors have never played. Many have never held a controller.
So you're going to use this hand and this thumb to go left or right. With your character and see as I go left or right. There's Mario, he's moving now.
This group caught on quick.
Nice, great job, great job!
Soon, a task that seemed tricky at first became a bit of fun.
So this is a whole new experience for you.
I've watched the kids play it for hours, yeah.
I think it's great. Great for your memory and your mind to learn new things.
How does it feel now after giving this a few tries?
Feels really good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd like to do it again.
After 6 months of playing video games, the seniors in the study showed improvements in memory function and in their ability to process visual information. A control group that did nothing new showed declines in those abilities. But the researchers say it's not about video games. They could have challenged the seniors to learn a new language or learn to cook.
I think the big takeaway message is really that learning new things and being a lifelong learner is sort of the best way to preserve mental health as you get older, preserve cognition as you get older, and doing something that you like is important, right? So if you like music, then do music. If you like video games, do video games. You're going to get some specific benefits, but what's really important in my mind is it's not something specific, it's that you're always challenging yourself and learning something new.
It may sound like common sense, but in the real world, lifelong learning isn't as common as it should be.
I think some people believe that, but others don't, and it's a drawback to their health, physical health and mental health.
What's important isn't playing Nintendo, it's believing that you're never too old to try something new. Zach Gowdy, CBC News, St. John's.
They're enjoying it. Lifelong learning, I mean, that is the message, obviously a very important one. I don't think I'm going to take up gaming, though. I've never done it before.
No, I was waiting for my kids to say, told you it was okay.
Action! A super special thing to see. It's really rare, but it's nice to live here in Newfoundland where it's so supportive of female filmmakers.
Female-driven, female-led.
Here now swings by the set of a St. John's feature film.
This weather forecast is brought to you by Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism. 5,000 kilometers of groomed trails are waiting to be explored. Embrace winter today.
Welcome back once again, and now time to get fuller details, more fulsome details on the weather. You're saying freezing rain for some, so get the scrapers handy.
Yeah, that or just avoid the highways at all costs. But tonight, we'll take a look at the current temperatures, and you can see why we're seeing that freezing rain. So as that precipitation starts to make its way on shore, temperatures are still below zero, and that will continue at least through the next couple of hours. And we can see that freezing rain just starting to make its way on. That will head towards eastern Newfoundland as we head through the next couple of hours. But overall, temperatures are actually going to start to climb. So here's a look at what your morning will look like, or at least morning temperatures will look like. 2 degrees in Port aux Basques, 6 in Marystown, and then similar temperatures for the Avalon as well. So no wonder why everything will change over to rain. We're going to see potential for some freezing rain for Grand Falls, Windsor as well. Otherwise, most of northern Newfoundland will stay as snow tonight. And then here's a look at your forecast for Lab City, -28, another chance of some flurries. Eventually things will clear though as we head towards the morning hours. Happy Valley, Goose Bay -19, and then Cartwright sitting at -17. Now the winds are going to stay quite strong though for the Strait, so still looking at some blowing snow tonight and a temperature near -11. So here's a look at those watches and warnings if you missed them a little bit earlier, or rather just warnings. Freezing rain warning in place for Clarenville, Bonavista, and Avalon North. And then rainfall warnings for the Burin Peninsula and the southern Avalon. Could see between 20 to 40 millimeters of rain with this system. And this is where we'll see the heaviest rain. Otherwise, once things change over to rain, about 10 to 20 millimeters for areas like Bonavista, Clarenville, and the rest of the Avalon. And then up through the northern Newfoundland and along the northeast coast, that's where we'll see about 5 to 10 centimeters, it looks like. Could see pockets of between 20 or rather 15 centimeters as well. So here's a look at your forecast for Wednesday. You can see everything clears out quite nicely by the time the afternoon rolls around. Then we get into a northerly flow. Those winds shift, temperatures drop. And with that northerly flow along the northeast coast, we are looking at that risk of freezing drizzle through the night, through the afternoon rather, and then up through the rest of Labrador. It looks like a nice day because a ridge of high pressure will move in, but that also means that things will cool back down. So here's a look at your forecast for tomorrow. Temperatures again in the morning will be around 5-6 degrees and then drop quite dramatically into the afternoon, back down to around the 0 degree mark. Clarenville -3, same for Bonavista. We're going to see that wind shift, so southwest to northerly winds tomorrow. Through Grand Falls, Windsor, Gander, Twillingate, all those areas sitting around -6, Harbour Breton -2 in the afternoon. And then again, we're going to see all those temperatures drop. Now, Burgeo is going to see that shower activity in the morning and then ending into the afternoon, going down to about -1. Should be cloudy skies, and then those north winds, not too bad, 40 km/h gusts at times. And then up through the rest of Labrador, we're going to see clearing skies towards the afternoon, and then some blowing snow continuing for both for the northern peninsula. -10 should be your afternoon temperature for St. Anthony, and then up through Labrador, sunshine as that ridge of high pressure is, but then those chilly temperatures, so sitting around -20 for Lab City. So let's look at your forecast. We'll look ahead when I come back.
A feature-length film is shooting in St. John's right now, and the team members behind it have something in common. They're all women.
Now, the film Little Orphans stars 3 women, is directed and written by women. The cinematographer is a woman, and so is the producer. Here now, stop by the set to take in the action. Mark it.
This is a project that Emily Bridger wrote called Little Orphans, and Jenny Hawley and I and Emily applied to Telefilm's Talent to Watch program, and we got accepted last June. So here we are today. We're actually at the midway point of the shoot right now.
I took Robert Chase's playwriting course at MUN, which was awesome, and that's how I started writing this, and it went from there, yeah. I think deep down I probably always imagined it as a film, but Robert's a really great writer and a really great teacher, so I took that opportunity. It's the first screenplay, a full screenplay I've ever written, so he was a really good teacher.
It's a film about 3 sisters who were abandoned as young girls and brought up by their uncle. They've come home for the younger sister's wedding and hoping to kind of reunite that family, and when it doesn't, they have to figure out how to make a family with the people that they have left around them.
see what happens during the wedding, if the mother shows up and whatever. Yeah, family drama, yeah.
So you're starring in this alongside two of your best friends.
Yeah, Rhiannon and Martha are two of my best buddies. Yeah, so that's really exciting.
So how did that happen?
I guess they've always just kind of been reading it, and I think we always kind of thought we would do it, and Ruth liked that idea, so it all worked out. Yeah.
So best friends in real life, sisters on screen.
Yeah, it's been super fun. It's awesome. Yeah.
Action. 3 female stars, a female director, a female producer.
Yep.
That's a lot of women. How unusual is that these days?
We also have a female cinematographer as well. So I think it is unusual, but it's not unusual when you think of the climate that we're in here in Newfoundland. The Women's Film Festival has been such an amazing support to filmmakers in this city, and women in particular have gotten so many opportunities and have been encouraged and supported. So I feel like it was just a natural fit that one day this would actually happen.
The super special thing to see. It's really rare, but it's nice to live here in Newfoundland, where it's so supportive of female filmmakers. We have so many, wonderful female filmmakers here, and Sherry White is actually our executive producer. People like Deanne Foley, Adriana Maggs, all these people from here, which I think is largely in part thanks to the Women's Film Festival, who were our sponsor for this film also with Telefilm.
But the statistics on women directors and producers are dismal, really, even women writers. So I feel like one step at a time, we're starting to make some progress. We just had to keep working at it and keep going up and never letting things backslide. That's where we get into trouble. So as long as we kind of keep going, and this project will help that for sure, then one day we'll get there. We will get to equity.
Well, a lot of equity there, almost completely female.
It's great to see. The International Women's Film Festival in St. John's really is paving the way for opportunities, I understand. And wanted to say thanks to our Carolyn Stokes for bringing us that item.
Coming up on Here Now, we're going to talk about childcare. If we were to address some of the shortcomings in taking care of our kids, would our population problem be solved? Stay tuned. Well, recently on Here and Now, we spoke to some people in our province and we asked them why they stay here when so many people are leaving. And one of our guests, a new Canadian, had this to say.
The biggest struggle is to find an affordable childcare. That is a real problem.
It's very expensive.
Yeah. And you know, when you have 2 kids, you are just giving the most of your earnings for the childcare, and it's like, why do I even go to work?
Right. Now, following that, I took to Twitter to ask people if there is a link between problems with childcare and making Newfoundland and Labrador a more attractive place to stay or to come to. Is improving childcare part of the solution to get people to stay here? Will it be an election issue? Well, let's make it one. It's time for the talk. My 2 guests are Robin LeGros. She's an early child education advocate with the Jimmy Pratt Foundation, and Jillian Slade is a mother of 2 young boys. Jillian, let me start with you. You've re-entered the workforce, so what's your story?
So I have a 4-year-old and a 5-month-old, and given the nature of my position, I was just on a contract, so I was offered another contract, so I went back to work a little bit early. I just started a couple weeks ago, actually. So right now, we're basically facing a pretty substantial daycare bill once my youngest goes to the same daycare that my son is at right now.
Right.
Luckily, we have a family member just watching our 5-month-old for the next couple of months while we figure, you know, something more permanent out.
So you have a partner, a husband, or?
I do, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, I'm married. My husband's Steve, and he works full-time. Now I'm working full-time. But we're in the position where we don't qualify for a subsidy, but the daycare bill is almost to the point where it will be causing a deficit in our monthly budget.
Okay, so you don't get the subsidy because the combined income is at the cutoff level?
Yeah.
All right, so how tight is it financially?
So, I mean, it doesn't make sense for me to stay home. We're a dual income family. We need 2 incomes in order to, you know, pay for our house, pay for our vehicles.
Right.
And I feel like the subsidy is designed for people who desperately need it. But there's some desperation in the working class, which is kind of disguised by a house and 2 vehicles in the driveway. We live paycheck to paycheck, and the cost of daycare is actually more than our mortgage for 2 full-time children.
Okay. Robin, you're one of the people that engaged on Twitter with me and a whole bunch of other people. Give me the big picture of the situation with childcare, and maybe you can refer to Jillian's story.
Well, Jillian's story is very common, but there's also the sector of population that do meet the requirements to get the supplement. However, it's still financially not feasible for them to go back to work. So there's many people who work at the minimum wage wage point, and they're unable to pay other bills and get the child to the daycare program. Oftentimes these daycare programs, the more inexpensive ones, are not quality, so it can be more detrimental to the child in the long run if it's a program that's not well recognized and developed. But the big problem is that this is not just a problem for you or a problem for the people who are at a minimum wage salary level. It's a problem for all of us, an economic problem. We had 5,000 children enter full-day kindergarten a couple of years ago when it's first launched. And out of a population of 500,000 people, that's not a very large portion of children that's coming through. So the high cost of daycare and the difficulty in raising a child in this economic environment that we're currently living has made this an unsuitable place for people to raise a young family.
And when we take a look at the whole issue of, you know, increasing our population, because our population is dwindling according to the latest statistics, is there a role for childcare in that? I mean, obviously you're here, you're working here, but in terms of attracting people or getting people to stay here, is childcare part of a piece of the puzzle?
Well, we need people to be in the workforce. We know that as our population is getting older and retiring, we need people to step in. So we need people right now in the workforce. To do that, we have to provide or make available childcare opportunities for these people, affordable childcare opportunities. What we think as the foundation, and international research shows, that publicly funded quality early childhood education is the best thing for children. So that means things like full-day kindergarten, junior kindergarten, and even reaching down into the 3-year-olds, and then making the daycare spaces, which are also very difficult to get, more available to the 1 to 3 or 0 to 3-year-olds. It's very difficult to find care for a 0 to 3-year-old right now.
So if I could wave a magic wand, Jillian, and provide some kind of less expensive childcare for you, what difference would it make? Because you're part-time right now?
I'm part-time right now.
Right.
I will be full-time in a couple of weeks.
Okay, so you're going to have more childcare.
That's right. So right now we're just kind of winging it. BC actually just rolled out a campaign last fall, I think, for affordable childcare. I think it's like $10 a day maximum or something. I think it's called life-changing. It would literally be life-changing for people.
But the other thing is the province is broke, right? Pretty soon we're going to start subsidizing electricity bills. We've heard the Premier admit that he's got a spending problem and doesn't have enough money. The finance minister is not going to raise taxes. You know, can we actually afford it?
Well, if we're in this position now, you can only imagine what we're going to be like in 20 years.
I think that the amount that it would actually cost to cover universal childcare or affordable childcare, the economic stimulus, like the spin-off that it would cause, I mean, we don't have any disposable income probably for the next year or 2 years. And I just think that it's viewed as a social issue when it's actually an economic issue.
One last question, devil's advocate for you. On Twitter, you saw this as well. You decided to have kids, right? Some people say, you know, just pay for them. You decided to have this, just take care of them yourself.
I think that is an old mentality that you work kids into your budget, but with the cost of living rising and wages not rising to meet that, obviously you're going to make sacrifices if you choose to have children, but I don't think anybody should suffer because they chose.
All right. Listen, I know this conversation has gone by fast. It's a complicated issue, and I really appreciate you coming to be on here now tonight. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Anthony.
One solution to the need for better daycare may be found at the Child Center on Craig Miller Avenue in St. John's. The government gives the center operating grants on the condition it keeps its daily rates affordable. The Child Center is a not-for-profit preschool program, and it's run by parents.
My name is Andrew Hicks, and my son Oliver, who's 5 years old, he comes here to the Children's Center. Myself and my wife, we were looking for a part-time space for Oliver. We needed somewhere where he could go every day during the week, but only during the afternoons. So the Children's Center was a daycare that was recommended to us. So we came and we checked it out, and we really fell in love with the place. So the Children's Center is a fully parent-run daycare, meaning we have an elected board of directors, of which I'm a part of. All the parents have a voice in how the center is run, and we really see the benefits of that because parents are really involved, they volunteer, and it becomes a really family-type atmosphere here. It is a challenge, I think, letting Oliver go to this daycare or to any child care center, but we know that Oliver is loved here by the staff, and that peace of mind, it really, you can't put a price on it. However, the price is a little bit less here, so it's all the better. We are very proud of the not-for-profit model that we've created here. This daycare has existed now for about 50 years. I think that the Children's Center is an excellent daycare, and we're proud to be able to send our son here. But similarly, I'm also proud to be part of the board of directors and to be able to shape the direction of the daycare. And I really feel strongly in the model, and I think it's a good model for the province.
And when I started this paper, I started the Overcast because there are so many amazing people and organizations doing work that I want to make sure everybody heard about.
An alternative newspaper in St. John's focused on the arts and entertainment community is stopping the presses.
Next, we'll get details from the owner about why it's time to wind things down.
They once called it the capital of Labrador, Battle Harbour, the former fishing premises that's found a future in tourism. Sunday at noon and Monday at 7.
Well, earlier we told you about the shutdown of the Overcast. Chad Pelly started the arts and entertainment newspaper 5 years ago, and now he's published his newspaper's final edition.
Well, it's been 5 years, and it's been the best 5 years of my life, really. Great job, but it's also a job that doesn't turn off. It's 7 days a week, it runs in the weeknights, and my mind is always split between 10 or 11 different things. So 5 years seemed like the right time to move on to new passions of mine and return to old passions of mine, like writing books and stuff again, and to just get out of the way and let another community paper come along. I want to be very clear that this was not a financial decision. Obviously, newsprint is struggling, all over the world, but that's large Canadian papers, even provincial papers, because of their, they have huge printing bills and huge distribution bills that a community paper doesn't have. I structured the paper to be the way it was for that reason, and it's entirely a personal decision. I'm moving on so that I can move on to new things myself, and I want to make that very clear so that no one's intimidated, and that they start the paper if they have the idea to, and I'm happy to help anybody answer any questions they might have to do so. I think the challenge is finding a way to engage enough readers that you're relevant to advertisers, like from the far left to the far right, how you come up with that kind of content. And we've done that by just being a voice of the community, by letting all different voices come in and tell us about everyone's different concerns. And in that way, we've, filled the void of being a true community paper, I suppose. The best part about this job has definitely been getting to know everybody in the community so much. And when I started the Overcast, I was concerned about having to come up with 50 or 60 stories every month, but I've left so much on the cutting room floor. We published about 4,000 stories continuously for 5 years and never struggled, and that's kind of given me like a new lens to see St. John's and Newfoundland and Labrador as this amazing place full of really vibrant people. A lot of news coverage tends to focus on all like the gloomy aspects of living here, and there certainly are those, but it's the people and the organizations doing important work that we tended to cover that make the place shine, so that's been a light for me, for sure. I'm very sad and nostalgic, but also euphoric to have my time back. And when I started this paper, I started the Overcast because there are so many amazing people and organizations doing work that I want to make sure everybody heard about. And today, to hear those same people and organizations saying very kind things about the paper and that it managed to be that voice that all these people need to get their story out gives me a great sense of gratitude I don't think I'll get from anything else ever again.
Hi, my name is Billy. I lost my arm in a farming accident in 1996.
We're checking back in with people who have overcome some major life challenges.
Come on! There's people who went through a lot slighter accidents and turned out a lot worse than I did. I knew I was very lucky to be alive.
This is My Story, a new series with segments every 2 weeks on Here and Now.
And this is my...
This weather update is brought to you by Beltone, helping the world hear better.
Welcome back, everyone. And before we get to the weather whiz kid, we've got
a surprise.
A surprise for Ashley.
Oh my!
Thank you.
Because, and that's one of our producers, Rod Etheridge.
Rod Etheridge
Thank
is
you.
back.
This
amazing. Is Happy
Aww.
National Weather Person Day.
Yes.
How cute is that?
Yeah. Yeah, hang on, get a picture now. Smile.
Okay,
Put
well, let me
this
fix
up.
my hair.
There you go. Beautiful.
There's
Aw,
a day
that's so
for
sweet.
everything, including
Yep.
people
There
like
is.
you.
Well, we must
Yes.
say that is the best
I just
day.
found out that this was started primarily in the United States, but it's on the date of John Jeffries, who's one of the United States' first weather observers, who took daily measurements back in 1774. So there you
Wow.
go. And he was born on February 5th.
Oh.
1744.
Okay,
So there you go.
that makes sense. Oh,
Yep.
how, I mean, thank you, everyone.
We'll have some later.
Oh, we will be eating that later. Don't worry. It would ruin our dinner.
Trying to get them to do the end of the show,
No.
but that wasn't going to happen.
Why waste a perfectly good cake?
True, true. Looks
That's not
tasty.
worth it. It does. It looks delicious. Well, Weather Whiz Kid time.
Lovely.
Another
It's
award.
another way to celebrate. So this is our Weather Whiz Kid Club member is Emily Evely. Trying to
Emily
practice that
Evely.
last name.
It's a bit of a tongue
Yep,
twister.
it is a little
Look
bit.
at that.
She's 5 years old from the town of Gander. Look how great that drawing is, or painting, I guess, in this case.
Beautiful colors.
Yes, very spring-like.
There she is.
Oh, I just
Whoa.
missed her. Hold on, I'll go back
Wait,
to her.
go.
Sorry.
There
she
she
is.
is.
Yeah, a great
Gorgeous.
picture there. So
Showing
nice.
the ennui of a 5-year-old artist.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Beautiful.
if you have any drawings that you'd like to share with us, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca, and then picture the drawing, your picture, where you're from, and how old you are. And, then we'll try to get them
And
on
you'll
the
be
show.
sending those winners, or those you've highlighted already, you'll be sending them out to them soon.
Yep, the postcards. They're getting in the mail this week, I promise. Yeah, the membership cards. It'll be very, very fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So we've got some messy weather tomorrow, but things are looking better in the long range.
It does. It
I
looks
don't
like
care about the weather. You
things-
guys carry on.
The cake honestly smells so good. Yeah, it's going to be quite clear, it looks like, for Thursday. So we take a look at the future tracker. Not a whole lot on it as we head towards the day on Thursday. Maybe just a few cloudy periods that will move through, but overall, generally a quiet Thursday. And then we start to see our next weather maker, which makes its way through from Ontario through the day on Friday and Saturday, and this one looks like it'll be a little bit messy. So here's a look at the forecast for Thursday. Lab City a little chilly, going to stay around -19 with that chance of flurries moving in towards later on in the afternoon, and then a slight chance of flurries for Happy Valley Goose Bay as well, -18. Otherwise, sunshine the story for the rest of Labrador. Down through Newfoundland, we are looking at that potential for a few onshore flurries, maybe down through the southwestern portion, but otherwise plenty of sunshine, -6 for Grand Falls, Windsor, same for Gander, and then St. John's sitting around -3. Now, taking a look at the future tracker towards Friday, here's a look at that system that starts to make its way in. We are going to get a little bit messy, so that southerly flow could see wreck house winds with this setup as well, and then everything will change over to rain for the most part. Those temperatures are going to climb again up into around the 7-8 degree mark for parts of the Avalon. And then up through Labrador, we are going to stay quite cold, which means snow. And then in behind that, again, we get into that northwesterly flow, which means onshore flurry potential for the west coast and the south coast through the afternoon and evening hours on Saturday. And then into Sunday, it sticks around as well. So it looks like quite a bit of a messy weekend as we head towards the end of the weekend. So here's a look at the forecast over the next 5 days for St. John's and eastern Newfoundland. That potential for tomorrow, again, we're going to switch from southwesterly flow to northerly flow, which means we have that potential for some freezing drizzle as that temperature hovers around the 0 degree mark. Thursday, plenty of sunshine, and then we get into that mess. So rain and windy, 7 degrees there for your Saturday, and then dropping down to -8, so significant temperature drop And that continuing ride on that roller coaster right through the weekend, those winds will stay strong as well. Now for central Newfoundland, same thing. Windy winds will pick up Friday night though and continue right through the day on Sunday. Again, with that warm up though, should reach a high in the mid-single digits. And then same for western Newfoundland. Looks quite gray though right for the rest of the weekend. Or towards the weekend rather. And then eastern Labrador, sunshine tomorrow, -13. You can see that temperature is going to climb to about -8 by the time Saturday rolls around. And then for western Newfoundland, not quite as warm, still sitting around -13 for Friday as that snow moves in, continues through the day on Saturday. And then that sunshine will eventually return by the time Sunday rolls around. So let's look at your forecast. I'll have your weather photo when I come back. Deb?
Thanks, Ashley. Now to a CBC News investigation into the Canadian Border Services. CBC News has learned there were 1,200 allegations of misconduct against border guards over the past 2.5 years. But it's the department itself that handles those complaints, and there's no outside oversight. Senior investigative reporter Diana Swain has the details from Montreal.
Advocates for undocumented workers block the gates and try to stop a deportation. They don't realize border agents have already moved a Montreal woman through a rear fence and put her on a plane back to Guatemala. Carrying out deportations is one of the duties of CBSA. But in this case, Lucy Granados was still injured from what she says happened weeks earlier during her arrest at her apartment.
I heard a male voice saying, "Madame, Madame, Madame," and then the line went dead.
Mary Foster got a call from Granados the morning 4 border officers arrived.
She was grabbed by the back of the neck. Her arm was twisted behind her back. She was slammed into the table and then onto the floor.
Reached in Guatemala, Granados says nearly a year later, she still only has partial use of her left arm. They grabbed me like an animal, she says. I don't know why they treated me like that.
Sadly,
Montreal doctor Nazila Betash examined Granados' medical file.
she had a traumatic injury probably during the time of the arrest, which basically damaged the nerves in her cervical spine and subsequently caused her arm to become paralyzed.
At least one officer later claimed in internal reports some force was necessary. Who's right? Well, the CBSA gets to decide that, because it's the only major law enforcement body in Canada that still investigates itself. There is no outside oversight. Now, CBC News has obtained documents through an access to information request that provides a rare glimpse at just how often the agency is investigating its own. Between January of 2016 and July of last year, CBSA investigated 1,200 allegations of misconduct against its own staff. Alleged offenses include neglect of duty, criminal association, and excessive use of force. Some specifics alleged in the data: smuggling, accessing confidential information on an ex-girlfriend, even an employee with a hit list of colleagues who'd crossed him.
We don't know if anybody was disciplined, if anybody was fired.
No.
We showed the list to Toronto immigration lawyer Joel Sandaluk.
I hear accounts from clients on a regular basis about treatment at the hands of CBSA officers.
But why do you believe outside oversight is necessary?
It is difficult for me to imagine another kind of agency in Canada that operates using firearms with the authority to arrest and detain individuals, has simply no way to be challenged or questioned in a public way about the conduct that they've engaged in.
Better civilian oversight of the
For the past 3 years, the federal government has been promising to bring in oversight.
There are some anomalies here in the system that we have to correct.
Granados and her supporters aren't waiting. They've decided to file a human rights complaint directly with the United Nations.
Ça va? No.
Diana Swain, CBC News, Montreal.
The Canadian business Sunrise Records announced today that it's purchased the British music chain HMV. The deal involves 100 stores and 1,500 employees in the UK, and that's in addition to the 84 Sunrise locations across Canada. Well, the price tag was not released and comes after Sunrise took over HMV Canada back in 2017. HMV sells about a third of all physical music, such as records and CDs that are purchased in the UK. A spike in vinyl record sales last year saw business improve by 20%. CD sales are still a billion-dollar industry in North America.
Take a look at this stunning weather photo of the day. Beautiful shot there. This picture was taken on the west coast, but where?
Oh, wow, that's beautiful gold and yellow colors there.
Don't know,
I could sit there and watch that forever. Well, I'll tell you where the photo was taken and who took this stunning shot when we come back.
We'll wind down here now tonight with something related to last night. Ashley showed us all a, oops, there we are. Ashley showed us all a rink in Churchill Falls, if you were watching last night.
That was so beautiful with the Canadian flag, and anyway, the lights was great. So
should have been there.
Yeah, tonight it's Kings County, Prince Edward Island.
Let's take a look at this. No swimming, fishing here. It's going to spend the next few weeks as a rink. That's the Souris River. A river that freezes quite solid, big wide river in PEI actually.
No ice fishing there either because they get a puck.
No, and a Newfoundland dog there just to confuse you.
I was just going to say, that was a Newfoundland dog there, eh?
That's lovely though,
Isn't that
the
nice?
way they've got it cleared. Great, great shot.
Huge rink.
I'd like to be out playing on that.
Me too.
Burn
Outdoor
off
rinks.
your cake.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's a good idea. Well, I want to see another awesome weather photo. There it is there.
So, Cotaway Valley?
No guesses where that was?
No, I have no idea. Does it look like a sunset? Do we know?
Where are we
It's
going?
Stephenville, but looking out at Bay St. George.
Okay, and they have a beautiful walk down there. I forget, it's just outside the town of Stephenville. Nice walkway. I wonder, was it taken there? It's all covered with snow and everything.
You're showing a Bay St. George bias of late, so I didn't. I was thinking
sorry.
maybe Bay St. George, and no.
Yes.
Ashley had Bay St. George recently, so it can't be.
But I couldn't not put this photo on there. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Randy Alexander captured that shot and sent it to nlphotos@cbc.ca, and that's where you can send your photos, and then we can get them on the show as well.
Anyway.
Okay, you've got a cake to get to.
Thanks for being with us and having a chuckle with us for Ashley's National Weather Person Day.
Yeah.
Enjoy your evening. See you back here tomorrow.
Good night.
Good night. hit the